Hi, today's short video is going to be on commercial property held within pensions. We get asked a lot by people how to go about this and the kind of pros and cons. We thought it would be useful to cover this with you. So commercial property, yes, that can go inside a pension, not residential. The scope of commercial is fairly wide though, so it's fairly obvious what's allowable and what isn't, but if anyone ever wants to ask, we're happily to help on that front. So why would you put a property inside your pension, or why would you buy a property with your pension? Tax relief is one of the first reasons you'd look at doing so. Commercial properties, assuming the value of the building grows over time, you wouldn't pay any capital gains tax on that growth while the pension is growing, and also while you're taking money out, there's never any capital gains tax to pay. Also, from a tax perspective, the rental income that goes into the pension doesn't attract any income tax, so that's another reason for doing so. Plus, pensions do not form part of your estate for inheritance tax purposes. So if you're looking at a potential inheritance tax liability and you'd like to buy a property, potentially doing so through the pension would kill two birds with one stone, because you wouldn't pay inheritance tax if you died and it was held within the pension at that time. So where does commercial property work well? Usually for business owners it works very well if you have an office, say, or a building that you're currently renting, or you've got a mortgage to the bank. You could, if you can afford to do so and buy it through your own pension, it means you're obviously not paying rent to someone else, or it means you're not paying the mortgage to a bank. It can also work the other way. If you want to get money out of a business and you've got money in your pension, you could use your own pension fund to buy the property off of the business and free up some cash from the business as well, so it can work well from that angle. Another point to highlight is, if you don't have enough money in your own pension to buy property outright, you can have multiple pensions buy into it, what's called like a syndicate SIP, or even a SAS can do the same. So you could have multiple people, multiple pension pots can buy the one property. Doesn't need to be in exact amounts. One person could own 30%, the next person 10%, and so on. So you can have multiple people owning the same building, and what happens is there's one bank account that runs for the property where the rental income gets paid into. So there's different ways to do it. Out with that, you can also borrow money. So SIPs can borrow up to 50% the value of the pension towards buying property as well. So that's another angle people often look at in terms of the amount of assets that you've got. If you want to buy a property, you could look to gear up. So it works well from that point of view. I've said they can borrow. The other bit that's worth highlighting is the pension can often pay for some of the refurbishment costs as well. So if there's some refurb needed, painting, decorating, that type of thing, you can often offset a lot of that from the property. So there's plenty of pluses, lots of reasons to do it. You don't need to be a business owner to buy a property. If you just saw commercial property or plot of land that you wanted to buy and had a plan for it, that's absolutely fine. It just works particularly well for business owners. The only downside, I'd say, just to give the complete picture, is property is obviously a very illiquid asset. So if you were looking to get money out of your pension, say you wanted to access tax-free cash or take some income, if most of the pension rather is in a commercial property, you need to sell the property to be able to free up some cash. So it's not very liquid, so you need to be mindful of that when the time comes to be looking to get income. But you can use the rental income from a property to buy towards an investment portfolio. So you could have commercial property and then rental income buying a portfolio of assets to give you some more diversification. So there's lots of different ways to look at it as well. So we'd be happy to talk to anyone about commercial property if they'd like to. Please get in touch with us at any point. Thank you.